Talk to us, Chris, about what you were watching. Were you in the overflow room? Were you in the courtroom? What were you seeing? And what was your take on Michael Cohen?
No, I was in the courtroom. I was seated right. I was in the courtroom, seated right behind the sort of weird phalanx entourage that had streamed in, including Doug Burgum and Congressman and Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
Yes, and yes, behind all those folks. I thought first of all, it was fascinating. I thought Cohen maintained, from my accounts of what I read yesterday, maintained the same equanimity today. He was relatively succinct. He sounded earnest. He was in a register and tone that we don't normally associate with Michael Cohen. I thought there was a number of pretty striking moments. One of them was the back and forth about the attempts by a lawyer named Bob Costello to basically get Michael Cohen under retainer to essentially keep him in the family when all of this is starting to fall apart after the FBI has raided Michael Cohen. And there's a number of points in which emails from Mr. Costello are read into evidence, and Michael Cohen's asked about them, that have this very mob movie feel to them, this kind of air of sort of a combination of flattery and menace in equal measures. You're loved, you've got friends in high places, sleep well tonight, trying to set up a back channel in which Michael Cohen could communicate to Rudy Giuliani, who's then representing the president as his client. And, all of that part, I was watching the jury during that portion because it was quite colorful. None of it felt like the kinds of machinations that are happening for someone in the person of Mr. Trump who's not worried about the way that he might be implicated in the scheme. It seems like a very, very, very intent and pressureful campaign that's brought to bear on Michael Cohen to sort of keep him from, quote, flipping, and that at a certain point entered into evidence are also tweets by the President of the United States basically talking about flipping, expressing disappointment when he has. So I thought that was a real highlight. And then the most interesting part of the day in some ways, and probably the most important, was the last hour was essentially a kind of pre-buttal of the cross in which Susan Hoffinger went through all the different times that Michael Cohen has lied, his legal troubles, the fact that he's been disbarred, the fact that he sort of objected to the pleas that he entered, that he said that he doesn't really kind of agree that he should have pled guilty to those things. They tried to parse that. I thought it was relatively successful given a bad set of facts. But that part is going to be very interesting because that was the attempt to basically say, look, this is a guy who's made mistakes. This is a guy who's lied. We know that. This is a guy who's lied in a bunch of different directions, faced a lot of legal trouble. On the fundamental core of the story here about his interactions with President Trump, he's telling the truth and he's reformed in a certain sense, and what he's told is corroborated.
And it's also interesting because Robert Costello, of course, so close to Giuliani. So that's a lot like what was happening with some of the January 6th witnesses. This is spelled out in court, in testimony, that, they're trying to keep him on the reservation, on the family, don't go off and flip, and then publicly saying it. But that last hour, it was fascinating to read it because all of those admissions are really going to be the way the cross-examination probably starts. You lied, you cheated, you did, everything you tried just now to take back your plea, your guilty plea. So, who is the authentic Michael Cohen? I mean, that's the way they would probably take it, right, Chris?
Yeah. Yes, and in some senses, there's a sort of interesting, one of the kind of narrative themes throughout this whole thing, right, is the sort of similarities between Cohen and how Cohen operated in Trump. And that's why Trump liked him. And the fact that when Trump stiffed his law firm the first time, he brought Michael Cohen over so he could get rid of the check. Here in that last part, there's a kind of fractal nature of this relationship in which you've got this sort of mini Trump-like figure. And, the Justice Department was weaponized against me, and I was sort of screwed, and, not quite saying witch hunt. And I think there's some merit in some ways to some of the allegations Michael Cohen has leveled against particularly Bill Barr's Department of Justice and they handled his incarceration. But there also is this sense in which this kind of cutting corners, not telling the full truth, feeling like you're always sort of under siege and persecuted. There's some resonances and echoes between how Donald Trump performs that and a lot of some of the personality traits, particularly those I think that we're going to see zoomed in on Cross and that were touched in that pre-buttal.